get the recap.
Go. Nice.
All right, shit's rolling. Paul, what happened last week was the inquisitorial team who met up with Wesley in the Cathedral District kind of heard that Wesley was in the mood to purge some heretics. Got the idea that he might have a penchant for such things. So they picked him up and took off towards a place where they knew heretics were hanging out. Meanwhile, oh, clearly.
No.
Yep. So at the Spadre, the guys who were present there, which is everybody but Wesley, they kind of had some comings and goings. They were going to meet up with, the man upstairs. And as they went up there to meet with the man upstairs, who's a nobleman from Orbit, the scouring began. The big spire. Yeah, the big spire in the center of the town started to groan and counter-rotate in all of its parts. And, like, people started screaming like crazy. Some people screaming in happiness. Most people screaming out of panic because they realized, well, it's us.
We're all gonna die.
It was at this moment that the Inquisitors piled out of their gaudy van at the Spadre to raid the place. When they went to do that, I think Wesley convinced them that, like, hey, we're about to get scoured. Is this worth it? Like, to take out some heretics instead of live to fight another day?
It was that in combination with you really don't have any evidence at all that there are actually heretics here.
That,
They're
on
just
top of
drunks.
the fact that they seem
Since when
pretty
does the
spineless.
Inquisition need evidence?
Well, I mean, an inquisitor with balls doesn't need evidence, but these inquisitors seem to be pretty lacking in that department.
I love your balls.
Yeah, they got intimidated by an old frail man, lickety split.
They did.
So they went, yeah, you're right, and they all piled back into the van to haul ass to whatever escape mechanism they had on deck. Meanwhile, the man upstairs, the nobleman, and our group who's present started to, like, forget what exactly happened. The guy tried to sick his robots on you, but you straight up disabled one. Both
This
of
is
them?
pretty. So, no, what ended up happening was, yeah, Paul, it was you and me, and this guy was like, shit. Like, he realized basically like the scouring was happening. He's like frantically like patting himself on, like, someone get me the fuck out of here, like calling all his contacts. And we were like, well, you're bringing us. And he was like, oh yeah, of course I am. And we're like, okay. He's like, get the drugs. And we're like, okay, yeah, duh, we should probably get the drugs. So he sent his robots to like help us. But this is the best part. They were we like got the drugs, gathered all our shit, so we're now running back, and then he tried to order them to like basically kill us and distract us. But I yelled at them in fucking binary. And whatever deep Mechanicus code was like way down in their hack systems, like registered that as like override command. And
that's
so,
awesome.
yeah, now both it was a lucky roll, and now both of his fucking giant fucking robo dudes are.
Dude, I think you rolled a 1 on that.
Yeah, I wrote something amazing. So
That's
basically,
awesome.
we have two giant robot fucking. I have two giant robot. I don't know what you would call them, NPCs.
Well, one of what happened was your spider, Ogene, climbed onto one and took direct control of it. I like climbed onto his face hugger style, and plunged its front 2 legs right through its eye sockets. And is like straight up controlling it that way.
Yeah. So one
That's
is
amazing.
one is literally being piloted by Ogene, and then the other one I don't think is like fully on board. I think it's like confused, but it's just following because the other one's following.
All right.
I don't remember Bushwick, but sure.
Good work.
Good job. Now, I believe Paul did stuff. I think you intimidated people.
You're there.
Yeah, Paul. So when we got back to this, like, so we're on the top of the fucking Club Chaos waiting. We were like waiting for a helicopter basically.
Okay.
And we came running up, and he tried to pull a gun on us, and you pulled out the PNV, and you were like, are you fucking serious? You're not going to try and fuck us right now, or I will fucking blow your head off. And he took one look at the PNV and was like,
I think he peed his pants.
Yes. Yes.
Pretty sure he pissed his pants.
Oh, and you had an awesome one-liner too. What was it? Oh yeah. So yeah, that's right. I made it up for you, of course. And you had a great internal monologue because the scouring was happening. The guy was like double crossing us. The people in the streets are all panicking. And you're like, the world's about to end. Chaos in the streets. Double crossings every turn. It's just like home.
Nice. Perfect.
So, the very, very last thing that happened was the inquisitorial team with Wesley. I think ours ended up going with them. At the last second, ours leapt into the van. And they're like, all right, good to have you out of there. Ours sees Wesley and is like, oh, we need to have a talk.
Also, Bushwick, I don't know if you remember, we did escape.
I remember the other team escaped. I don't remember, did you guys?
No, so our scene ended, Paul, with like basically a rocket came down and like landed on the fucking roof of the fucking Club Chaos. We jumped in there and it just like ripped up at like a super high velocity.
That's
and then
right.
the fucking, so we were like on the ground of this fucking rocket, like on the inside.
What were you in?
Fucking we like were ripping up. We had just ripped up and I think like hit orbit. And so we were clear. The other team, when we ended, was a cliffhanger because they were like zooming through the street still as fast as they could.
So you guys went up and like your power went out and it sounded like it was like hailing on the whole of your ship.
Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that part.
And then we drove into like a shipping container rocket and blasted off.
Yeah, it was something. It was disguised as one of the like bell towers of one of the churches.
Oh yeah, there was something really cool with. See, this is oh god, I missed those write-ups. There was something really cool where, yeah, one of the priests like knew the whole time, and it was like it was always an inquisitorial like cover. Something cool.
So basically where we left off is everybody is airborne. The power is cut out. From whatever windows you can see, the sky has gone an unnatural black as a massive circular cloud begins to whip up around the city, seemingly at the edge of the veil. Just in clips and like little just wisps at first, but little thunder clouds start forming. And this massive, extremely opaque black cloud starts to whip around, and you swear you can hear on the edge of your hearing, whatever the hearing equivalent of peripheral vision is, you can hear something that just sounds like a constant scream, just a wailing of a million souls. As the outside of your respective crafts begin to be pelted with some sort of precipitation, I guess. Not sure what else to call it. But one thing is for certain and shared between both your groups as you like rocket out of the city. You can see other rockets taking off from other places and people trying to lift off in ships, and the ships just go and fall right back down. Any rocket that's taking off, you see the engine just cut. Some of them continue on a little bit more, but overall, everything that is flying out from the city all at once just goes dark. So you are sitting in essentially a free-falling machine.
Oh, shit.
Oh, ours is too.
Yours is also free-falling. Well, I mean, yours... Okay. So we're going to go to yours first. You guys,
should we have high intensity music for this or the slow music?
Let me see what this just switched to. It went to the 10 hours mix. Yeah, we're going right past this shit. In fact, I'm going to move this way down the list. I'm going to put it just before Yakety Sax. Because if we hit Yakety Sax, I'll put it after Yakety Sax. If we hit Yakety Sax, we're in problems. Okay. Your machine... skyward, engines cut. You see that there is an organic being at the helm, somebody who's not augmented at all, and you can't help but feel like this was a bit intentional. He's struggling with a series of flight sticks, and all like the lights went out on his dash, on his sort of whatever you want to call it, in his cockpit. But you notice there really aren't that many. a lot of what this dude is doing is pulling levers and like turning big dials and shit. This guy's operating this thing manually. This is like a steamship equivalent of something flying through the air. And for that sickening moment that you feel gravity start to exert its baleful grasp again, when your guts lurch up into your lungs, there's that when you're in free fall, and then you hear like a pneumatic hissing as the thing pins you to the floor for a second and begins to what you assume is level out. The guy continues to sit up there and struggle as things are pinging against the hull, and you swear more than once you see something shatter against the windshield. He's looking out, and you've got sort of portholes where you can see out the sides. What's the deal, gents?
All right, so this is me and Paul. I'm immediately going to yell to OG because I'm still like, I can't really move yet, can I? We're just still like kind of in free fall.
You guys are, you know what? Call at the end of your turn here. You can move because now it's some sort of glider.
Oh, so it's gliding. So we're not falling back to the earth.
You guys, for a second there, were plummeting down towards the earth, but this thing deployed its old school systems, and now you're still falling towards the earth. You're just doing it in a much more controlled manner.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of like look around. I'm gonna look at Ojin, who's still on the giant fucking zombie fucking mecha warrior, and be like, Ojin, watch him, and point to the fucking man upstairs who tried to double cross us and not leave with us. That was bullshit. And I'm gonna get up and kind of walk towards the cockpit.
Okay, Ojin turns towards the man with you can see that he's straining.
To control it.
Well, he's straining, but he's like, even you, some of your systems, your electronic systems, have begun to short.
Oh, shit. All right,
So-
I want to run a weird... Okay, before I do anything, I want to see if I can run like a quick, like, what is it when you have a computer run like a self-diagnostic?
A diagnostic.
That's what I'd like to do. So I want to... Okay, so if I'm feeling that way, I want to run a quick diagnostic on my own internal systems.
Do a
Okay.
Malwarebytes quick scan.
Yeah,
I
he
wanna,
goes,
like,
he reboots, he slaps F5 until he gets the command prompt.
I read somewhere, can I have Kadofi just delete system 32?
It's a pretty good idea. You need to give me admin privileges for that, just making sure.
All right, so I want to just quickly, like, Kadofi just like closes his eyes and essentially does exactly what you just said. Runs an internal diagnostic on all his mechanical systems and electronic systems and computer systems.
Okay, so you see the standard Mechanicus text begin to roll away beyond your closed eyelids. But they are struggling. They're faint. Some things aren't even registering. Whatever you've got running is really running on emergency double secret probation reserve power.
Oh, shit. I'm like really fucking low here, huh?
Well, considering everything electronic in the ship just went out, that you have anything functioning at all is pretty astounding.
Okay. I'm gonna like kind of stand up then. He's definitely like real woozy. And again, walk towards the cockpit.
Yeah, you are for the moment organic.
Wow, weird.
Ooh. Oh, it's the last time.
Years ago. So yeah, I'm gonna stand up and just kind of like, actually, I want to take a willpower test to see how I react to this.
Is that your willpower test?
Yeah, that second one was, and I failed miserably actually. So
Panic begins to set in. Not
Yeah,
only
it's-
are you in an unfamiliar craft that's running by, call it, you're in an acoustic spaceship right now.
Nice.
And,
Okay.
and none of your systems are linking up. And it wasn't, I mean, you've been through hell and back again. You know every sort of EMP that could strike you. And you didn't see this one coming. When
All right,
you
so
look over
Kadofi's-
it, when you look over at Ojin, you can see his spider limbs beginning to like sort of let go of the guy's face and dangle. As both the Mechanicus agents, the repurposed Mechanicus agents, are sitting unmoving in their seats.
All right, I failed that so bad. Yeah, Kadofi can't do shit. He's just fucking slumped over and 2 out of it.
Are you one of those people who's so reliant on this stuff that you can't really function without it?
I can function. He's just if you hit him like that, I would say Kadofi is like so sluggish and weird. Like, he's not like most Mechanicus guys where he's like all robot because he's from a feral world. He's mostly like, I'd say he's like half to a quarter robot, and he's probably mostly organic. But there's so much stuff that runs on. It'd be like removing 3 of your senses at once. You're so used to having them, even though
you can still live. It's just this is no way to live.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
that's how he feels right now.
Paul, our entirely organic member of our team, you are completely unfazed by this. The man upstairs seems to have suffered some sort of traumatic thing that just happened. His pants still smell like piss. His 2 bodyguards have dropped, but go for it.
Good. I'm going to call towards the cockpit. Is it open between the cockpit and where we are?
Yep.
There's like a doorway or something at
There's
least.
like a little portal, but there's no like shut door there.
All right,
There's
I'm
no
going to
time for
approach
any of
it
that.
and kind of poke my head in the front and just say,
Good luck. We're all counting on you.
Yeah. Is there anything I can do to help you pilot this thing?
So there's actually not only one person up there, it's 2 people, totally organic people who are sweating like crazy, pulling stuff and twisting stuff and moving stuff around. One of them just looks back at you briefly, assumes you're somebody that the man upstairs brought on board on purpose, points to a strap-in points next to him, says, "Get in! Get ready to pull this lever when I say it!"
All right, I jump in, I throw the straps on, I'm getting ready to pull the lever.
All right, so you're getting ready. You can see the nose start to tip groundward. The seemingly endless expanse of the veil, the area beyond the veil is before you. It's just wooded from here to eternity. You can see way on the horizon, sort of like, you know when you go over the bridges to Philadelphia, you can see Philadelphia way the fuck over there.
Yeah.
It's that. You can see, like...
The magical land of Philadelphia is on the horizon.
It's sunny there,
the land
always.
of championships.
That's right.
Title town.
You can see that there's another city over there. It's not your city, because it's also not wreathed in doom clouds. But you get the sense that these guys are trying to figure out which way to point this thing, as they're looking back towards the passenger compartment every once and then. But right now, they're too focused on trying to get this thing stable. And one of them yells to you, one of them points to the lever next to his seat and yells, "Right now, go!" So give me like an agility check for this.
All right, hang on. Get off. Get the fuck off.
He loves you.
Yeah, I know. Agility? Why'd it have to be snakes? Nice.
Nice.
Hey, nice. All right, so you lean forward and the straps, they're too tight for you to reach the thing. So you just, easy as you please, just pull the little, things on the little tighteners on the straps, loosen it up some, grab the lever, and pull it back the entire way. You hear a groaning from outside as everybody's pushed briefly forward towards the front of the plane as the nose pitches up a little bit towards the horizon. They begin to point this whatever it is towards that city in the distance as the guy in the left turns back towards the passenger compartment and yells, "Dimitri!" Hold on, I gotta find the name of these cities again. I had them in here. "Dimitri, we going to Calhoun or no?"
Calhoun, nice.
Are we going to Calhoun or are we going to Destinar? Guys in the other plane, what do you think they're gonna do?
I think they're... Go ahead, Dan.
I think they're gonna die. They're gonna crash and burn.
I don't know if that's what they're gonna do.
Go wherever Wesley ends up, so I can give him a piece of my mind for betraying us to the Scooby Squad.
A P and V's of my mind.
Exactly.
Nice.
Old man.
Writing it down. Oh, by the way, just a slight aside here. My XCOM team, Wesley is his title is Old Man. I have Paul P and V Vanez, who is bonded with John Inquisitor Castle.
Nice.
Marianne's on there. She's bonded with Dan Howren.
Sorry.
And then Kyle and Brawny, buds. Anyway.
We know about their bondage.
So before we hear the guy's answer, we're going to skip back to said Scooby Squad, who are still in their van. Like, the whole van just pulled into this thing as it went...
Oh, hey, really quick before we continue. Sorry. Dan, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
No,
Dad.
fucking
Happy
birthday.
man.
Purposely
That
ignored.
was your birthday.
It was yesterday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, dude.
What did
How old are
you
you?
wish I purposely didn't.
Purposely ignored it.
Such a dick.
Yeah. Anyway,
That was
the
it.
Scooby van skyward as it cuts out at the same moment. The same ping, 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 ping against the hull is there, but it's very muted. So you guys got a bit of a later start than the man upstairs did. So your rocket didn't really get very far before the engines cut on this thing. And also, your vehicle isn't some kind of crazy, sophisticated super glider.
What are you talking about? Have you seen it?
It's a van inside of a rocket.
Yeah, I mean
It's no Tesla.
Trying to think what SUVs the Buick makes.
It's not a
So-
Tesla inside of SpaceX.
No.
Falcon 5 or whatever it is.
Falcon 9? I forget what it is.
9? Might be 9.
I want to say Falcon 9. Anyway, so as you guys are rocketing upwards, this seems old hat to the other people in the van, with the exception of ours. Ours is kind of like, he's a little green around the gills? Blue around the gills?
Green around the gills.
He's a little green around the gills because he's not used to seeing action with this team. But everybody is opening all the windows on the van. Those who have doors next to them are opening the doors and buckling up. Gents, what's the plan? You have anything to ask, or is ours doing his explanation as you guys are rocketing towards what might be your doom?
Wesley is bewildered and just gonna follow cues. So if there's a door or a window next to him, he will open it.
All right, so looking around, he decides to follow suit. Ooh, nice.
Huh.
So he decides to follow suit, open his window. Ours, what's your deal? What are you doing? You got the books from the
I
last
got the
place.
books, which I'm gonna like strap down and secure, like in the freaking glove compartment of the van, so they don't go flying over the place. Oh, that was gross. What was that?
Heard that one.
Somebody just pooped. Who was the guy that who didn't put his seatbelt on and went rocketing in the back?
Fred.
I don't
Do you remember that?
No, Fred's driving. I mean, the Space
Shaggy.
Marine, the guy in the Space Power Armor is driving. And the guy who's the guardsman, who's not Shaggy, is in the passenger
He
front
always
seat.
forgets. So I'm gonna be like, somebody reach back there and grab him and strap him in before it's too late.
We're just going to
How
say
many
it
times
was...
is this gonna happen before you learn?
Yeah, you know, we have to go with that. It's the Shaggy guy and not Shaggy. So somebody reaches back there, the Cyber Mastiff, who is like bolted into the ground, decouples, reaches back there, grabs him, pulling him forward towards the front seat as everything goes silent. The Cyber Mastiff, undaunted by the situation, continues to pull the guardsman towards the front seat, who is now in a bit of a panic. The guy in the power armor in the front, you can see that you can't see his knuckles through the armored gloves, but you can see that he is clearly wrenching this steering wheel into a new shape with how tightly he's gripping it. Everything that's loose in the van starts to suddenly float as it begins to point groundward again. Any last minute, any prayers here, boys?
Yeah, what Wesley is going to be like kneading his own thighs, just like, and
Wasn't sure where you were going with that one.
yeah, thighs, and quietly praying to himself.
Just got to get one last one out.
Yeah.
You are not exercising any of your abilities here. You are simply a mortal along for the ride.
I don't know that any of my abilities would, at this point, I don't think I have anything that would be helpful.
Take you guys over to this.
If we had to make a decision about where to land, I could maybe dip into the warp and take a look, but it sounds like we didn't get very high. So I don't think I think we're coming down not far from where we took off.
That's a very astute observation there. Okay, the pink, you guys are in the southeastern city there. That's Destinar. You've got that other one. Calhoun is the one right above you there. And further down, where the fuck did I write all these cities down? God, I need to put the little, like, marker. Excuse me. It's Elkandoras. Might be Elkandras. Is the one down there. All right, I got a little marker in there now.
Yeah. Of course, the one in the south has a Mexican name.
Nobody said anything about that. Anyway, so you guys
Right,
hear
Mexico's
like there's a lot more
north of
pinging
Argentina.
against your hull, though it's muted because it's through two separate hulls. The guy in the driver's seat looks back towards you, and with that strange beatific smile on his face that has begun to unnerve you more than it has to put you at ease, says, "Hey gang, everybody might want to hold on here. Looks like we're in for one of those landings." And you swear from somewhere far off you hear a group of people laughing. Everybody seems to brace. The guardsman, doesn't quite make it to the front seat or strap himself in time before something deploys in this chamber outside of the van. He puts it in park. The Space Marine guy puts it in park, takes his hand off the wheel as you hear just a series of explosions rocket down the sides of the van as everything begins to fill with a rapidly hardening foam. Everybody who's in the van goes and like shuts their mouth and eyes.
Wait, the foam is coming inside of the van, or like?
Yeah, everybody's got their windows and doors open.
and.
Okay.
Awesome.
So you guys are in for it. And the last thing you swear you hear before the foam fills like your ear canals pretty much is just like a loud screaming. The amount of things pinging against the hull picks up until it's just a constant storm. And then there's an instant where there's just a massive force against you and you black out for a second. We're jumping back to the other group. They're gliding seemingly towards Calhoun up there. They might be turning back to Destinar. Not Coranto. It's got to have a C because everything is A, B, C, D around the wheel. Because I am not creative. They turn the thing towards Calhoun, and Dimitri sits up from the back seat and just is kind of like, he just tells them, "No! Around! Turn around! Turn around now! Turn!" The guys in the back, the guys piloting look back at him questioningly, and he just says, "Crash it! Crash it in the fours! Crash it in the fours!" If you recall, it is a mad fucking dash when these cities get emptied like this for real estate. And if you can grab yourself a prime piece of real estate, you're pretty set up. So right now, people from all these other cities are beginning to blast off towards Destinar in the hopes there's the great gold rush happening right now.
Oh, we're going back.
Yeah, so you've got like the nice shiny city of Calhoun over there. It looks a little bit different than what you're used to with Destinar. In fact, it looks really nice. And in that, it's like, no, let's not go there. As the thing pans around and you see just the stormy desolation that's encompassing Destinar right now. Anything going on back there? Your systems are straight up out right now.
Mine? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Paul?
What are you guys doing?
So the pilots who are desperately struggling to keep this thing afloat, pretty much, is looking and say, big man calls the shots. Listen, we get down there, I'm grabbing myself a place on the forwards if I can get it.
Are we sure the scouring will be done when we land?
Dude pulls up an arm. He's got 2 black stripes on his arm and 1 red stripe. He goes, they don't pay me for nothing! As he's struggling to keep the thing together.
Oh, shit. We're going back, Paul.
Let's do this. Leroy!
Yeah, this is like outside the plane. You see it just going towards the, like, encircling clouds of scathing destruction.
Kadofia, I think this is happening, bud.
Kadofi's like still way too out of it to give a shit.
He's trying to access the sensorium, connect with the machine spirit of the plane. There is none.
All right, well, you two tell me what I can do to help.
All right, so these guys are starting.
I think you'll agree I pulled that lever pretty good.
Pretty obvious.
Turn that thing back around. All right, here's the deal. The Scooby Gang, you guys have crash landed. You don't know where yet. You know you've touched down. Everything's black as you hear something just beyond this massive wall that is like built up around you. You can't move a muscle for starters. Take a willpower check, the 2 of you. Ours included. Call it flat +5 for ours. Ours knew what to expect, but he's never been through this. Ours hasn't earned a stripe yet. Oh, so ours is in a bit of a panic here, and he starts to hyperventilate. Because it's like having been caught in an avalanche. Like, you only have the space directly in front of your face here, and even then, it's holding it in place. So ours begins to hyperventilate. It's somewhere, there's a crackling. And like beyond this, it's like covering your ears, and you hear somebody talking in the next room, like. Stuff starts to break down. You can hear more and more stuff as like the foam dissolves around your shoulders. And ours, you just breathed a good gobful of this shit right into your lungs. For the rest of today, if you have to take an athletics check or a run check, you're going to be doing it at -5.
Okay.
If you roll like a 90 or above, you're going to suffer some sort of like, this glob of, it's basically great stuff, is in your lungs right now.
You swallowed asbestos.
Yeah, you kind of did.
Grim dark asbestos.
So the Imperium does not have good healthcare options for its employees.
The foam begins to disintegrate. The guy who's in the guardsman uniform looks down for the count. He might be alive, he might not be. The other guys don't seem too concerned. As all the rest of the foam disintegrates, you can hear from the outside the pinging start to just die down a little bit. The guy in the driver's seat looks back at you with that same unerring smile, like, as he turns the key to the van and sticks it in reverse, slams a button on the dashboard, and another series of explosions as the entire canister just falls away to the side of you. You are bathed in a sickly green light. As behind you, you both can see it, there's just a dome over top of like the city, just a wreathing cloud of lightning and screaming. You swear you can make out shapes within it. That there is something just spinning around in this thing. But overall, it just looks like a lightning mass. The guy in the driver's seat goes,
for a good measure, I'm going to take a Cynicians test.
Good
Okay.
idea.
And I'll do GM rolls there for you.
Go for it.
Okay. So you can go ahead and continue with your
All right. Guy in the
test.
driver's seat goes, never gets old, does it, gang? All right. Well, nothing to it but not to do it. Congratulations on your black stripes, everybody. Into reverse. Down out of the thing as like just shards of glass are falling out of the sky around you. Every once and then one pierces the hull of the van that you're in or shatters against the windshield. Per your Cynicians test, it's there. It's there, but it's real muted. Like we said before, it's the equivalent of like somebody has the radio on in the apartment next door. You know, you can hear the bass, you sort of know it's there, but you don't have anything really sort of, not like listening to the radio.
Which is hugely suspicious because there's a giant storm going on overhead.
Oh yeah, yeah, scouring.
Yeah. It should be
screaming like heavy metal concert level.
It should be. I shouldn't be taking any test. It should be pulling us in.
All right, as you guys are, we're gonna jump back to the guys in the glider now. You guys are like careening towards this destructive dome that's encompassing the city. The pilot starts to sweat. The co-pilot's losing his nerve because you can see dude doesn't have any stripes. You guys are hold it together. He's doing all kinds of shit. He's calling back there for everybody to get buckled up. Kadofi, take a perception check to hear if you heard to get buckled the fuck up.
Definitely did.
Okay, great. So you start to strap yourself down with all kinds of stuff. Ogene at this point is completely limp. The two legs piercing through the Mechanicus's eyes are still lodged in there, but the rest of him is just swinging.
Oh, no. Oh, Gene, can I try and like grab him really fast?
See if you can reach over and reach him. Just give me a D100 roll flat for this. 51's not good enough.
Oh no. Okay,
you go to reach for him, but like you try and reach him electronically, but all your systems are out right now. Dudes are going towards the dome, Co-pilot starts to lose his shit. Paul, you're up front there. What are you going to do? Are you going to kick him out and take his seat? Are you going to continue to provide moral support up here?
I'm going to kick him out and take his seat.
Oh,
okay, so
go great. See you guys. It's been a fun campaign.
We got to take some kind of roll here. One, you need to give me a willpower roll at plus 15. This is slightly easier for you because you don't really know what's happening.
No, but all I know is I see this guy freaking out and it's annoying.
I'm real pissed at this guy.
Oof. Fate point.
Fating it down. So you go to like, you unstrap yourself, put your hand on the back of this guy's, like the seat, the back of this guy's seat, as the pilot just yells some wordless scream as you plunge through the dome. It's just a wall. On the other side, it's just a hellscape. There are these massive things just encircling the city, just shapes flitting to and fro quicker than you can even really manage. Right now, your attention is a little too split because as you plunge through the dome, it's just things against the windshield and things are breaking through and just the dude who is in that seat just gets pierced. You can see the blood blossom out of him as you are unbuckling him and throwing him out of the seat, sitting in his spot. The stick is jostling before you as the other pilot's struggling to keep it together, aiming it towards the spire in the center, which continues to counter-rotate. Ships are like, your ship is towards the thing. Any ship that didn't make it out continues to fall out of the sky. Explosions left and right as rockets that didn't make it out of the city are detonating, falling from the sky. So you're getting it together. All right, give me a piloting roll, boy.
Figure it out, Paul.
Pretty sure it's agility based.
I believe it is agility based. Minus 20 because Paul's not a pilot.
Minus 20.
What's your
Is it
agility?
20 or 10?
I thought it was -5.
If you're not
No, no, it's
trained in
gotta
it,
be more.
it's pretty
It's got to
hefty.
be more than 5.
-10.
It's only -10 if you're not trained.
Yeah.
I think it's
Consult the
-10
books.
blank plus 10 plus 20 plus 30.
Can I intimidate the ship we're in?
You can try.
No.
Considering there's no machine spirit.
Wait, Paul, what did you roll?
I'm going to
I'll say that's
intimidate.
the one
I'm going
in
to
front of Brian.
intimidate the controls.
The 65 was for something else. Was for the like willpower check to like, because he just watched the dude in front of him just get splattered by the shattering shards of glass that exploded through the windscreen.
Yeah,
Are you really trying to intimidate the controls on this thing?
I'm going to intimidate the controls.
You better roll a 1, my friend.
Don't intimidate the controls, Paul.
That's my instinct. All right, just a piloting test then, as I try to figure out what this is about,
Got
and then I'm gonna intimidate the pilot. So I'm rolling on a 24. Whew.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
All right, so you get up in the seat, you kick that dude out of the way, strap yourself in and go, "All right, you son of a bitch." As you're just looking at the screen in front of you and there's gauges going crazy and you're just like, "Fuck you, you dirty whore." And just yelling at it as you like begin to like twist stuff and move stuff. The plane starts pulling one of these. The pilot looks over, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I go, "Shut up! I'm taking over."
He looks for a second at your arm, realizes he can't see the stripes underneath your flak jacket, but sees the pea shooter at your hip, the peacemaker at your hip, and decides not to argue. He continues to try and wrestle the controls and looks at you plaintively to just fucking help.
I am.
You
helping.
got a 16,
This is
so
me
this thing
helping.
is aimed towards the spire as you begin to picking up speed. He yells, "Deploy the flaps!"
Which
Give
one's
me-
the flaps?
Yeah, give me a perception check plus 30 because you intimidated the controls. That's your plus.
Nice.
Did you get it?
Yep.
All right, so you can clearly see it's bright as day, and it happens to be bright red. It says flaps on it.
Is it a button, a knob, or a switch, or a lever?
Well, it's supposed to be one of these things where you pull and twist and push it back in, but you just punched it. So you just wail on the thing, and the flaps all just deploy permanently as everybody inside the thing down towards the ground. You can see the streaks of sunlight begin to peek through the doom clouds as you streak towards the ground.
Awesome.
Get ready, boys. I hope you're all strapped in because this ain't gonna be pretty. Everything like buildings are zooming by on your left and right as you're putting this thing down in the street. Now, the streets were not clear. You find suddenly that there's no people filling the streets anymore, but there's still plenty of vehicles there as you just, chunk, a wing is gone. The thing starts to screech in. All right, boys, give me a, what's the one where you, it's a toughness test. Give me a toughness test. As this glider is bleeding off speed because of flap deployment as it rockets its way towards the building in front of it.
I'm fake pointing mine down, so I passed.
Paul's got a 34 out of 33. That doesn't pass, but it's not the end of the world here. I'm not going to kill you.
Boo.
But I am going to give
I'm
you...
going to use my other fate point to make that a 1.
Whoa. Okay. You got a 1. Brawny faded his down, so he's going to make it. You guys are rocketing towards this massive plascrete edifice. And it just so happens, man, one of these open flaps that are permanently now open catches a vehicle as you pass it. It drags the whole thing slightly sideways, and the entire left side of the plane smashes into this thing. The pilot is rocked and goes unconscious immediately as you guys on the right side of the plane, who are it's Ogene, it's Dimitri. No, it's I think Ogene is on the right side. Paul is on the right side. I don't think Brawny is, but we're gonna say it's the front of the plane now.
Okay.
So the passengers all mostly make it. They're there. They might not all be in one piece, but this pilot looks like he took a beating. The other pilot who was with you, the one who got pierced by a bunch of whatever glass shards, is just completely dead on the floor. Give me a perception check, Paul.
Just
minus 10. This is going to be minus 10 because there's a couple of other things that are, vying for your attention right now, namely not dying.
Rolling on a 30. Ugh.
All right, well, the only thing you're concerned with is breathing, and you've continued to do that. You consider that a wild success. The pilot, who is clearly suffered some kind of concussion, just is breathing heavily, looking at the middle distance as you see him going, come on, come on, come on. Outside, you hear ping, 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 and no more. The sun begins to, shine through whatever dark clouds envelop the city as the massive spire in the center of the city grinds to a halt. Boys, let's take a 5 or a 10 here. Refresh your drinks, go to the bathroom, and then we need to kick it into high gear to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Awesome. All right. All right.
It's hot. It's hot in here.
Open a window.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I feel so dumb because it's so cold outside. Dude, Paul.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Kyle, I have to save this.
Dude, yeah, the actual use of the link is why I had to post. I was like, Bushik needs to see this.
It's perfect.
This is something that would happen to him.
That's basically me all the time. I just when I saw that one that said I guessed, I gotta be like it's in Jaws when somebody else shark and it does that zoom in while the background
yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
Hey, let's check out these corrections. I guessed. What?
Yeah. Have you watched Trailer Park Boys?
Oh yeah. I think I stopped when they turned the casino, or when they turned it into a casino with Moneyville, when Snoop Dogg was on it. I was like, I don't know.
I forget.
It's later.
I don't know if I saw that.
It's
yeah, I don't know if
Barb has all her lesbian posse running the park, and Leahy's trying to get back in, and
I don't know if I saw that.
There's a major jump the shark component.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Essicat. Essicato.
I'll be right back.
Not to provide 4? What the hell?
Divide.
can't stop watching Essie Cat. Essie Cat!
Oh, is she on there? Oh, there she is.
I'm trying to like get her attention.
Nope. Not working.
Dude, look at this. There's another cat. You mad at me? Well, fuck you.
Oh, where's she going? Oh, here
There's a
she
cat.
is. Oh,
There's a cat.
yes!
There's a cat over here. There's a cat. Look at me. Not you. Yeah, dude, I'm looking at other cats on the internet. It's not a big deal. Look at this asshole cat up here just yelling at me.
Yeah, he's not happy.
Meh. Oh, he's noticed the other cat. Probably less than happy. Look, dude, there's another cat right there. Stay away from my jelly beans. Oh, that jelly bean's terrible.
What is it?
I don't know. It tastes like how low tide smells.
Oof.
That one might have been like grass clipping.
I just made this and I forget what I put as the password.
What did you do?
So here's a throwback for you that you probably haven't had to deal with for 10 years. FAFSA?
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck FAFSA, man.
Yeah. I know, but since I've gone back to school, starting this summer session, I have to do this again.
It's pretty awesome. What classes do you have to take?
This summer, I'm taking medical terminology. And then in the fall, I'm taking anatomy and physiology 1 and microbiology.
Ooh.
And then next spring, I'm taking anatomy and physiology 2. And then next June, I start the actual RN nursing program.
Well, shit, dude. If you ever get hung up on Bio 1, I know a guy. Really, that should be Kyle, but I know, I can tell you all the fuck about photosynthesis.
Chlorophyll? More like borophyll.
I said that joke and 0 people got it, and I was so mad.
What, it's at your school?
Yeah.
They're too young.
I know, but I mean, like, so we had Magic School Bus on the other day.
Nice.
Right, because we have ants in my classroom because they're dirty bitches. And, well, it was just like there's food all over. But we had ants, so I put on Magic School Bus. And one of them's like, dude, this sounds like the Temptations singing this theme song. And I'm like, 1, how do you know that?
Yeah.
2, it totally does. So we looked it up. Little Richard sang the theme song for Magic School Bus.
Okay, I can see that.
It was awesome.
That's very cool. Submit. We are unable to provide why. Please contact the IRS Identity Protection Specialized Unit.
Oh, dude, I've been doing this, Paul, with like health insurance, like state health insurance.
This is brutal. I don't remember what.
Dan, how much do you weigh?
How much do I weigh?
Mhm.
Like 160 these days.
Why do they want my 2016?
Oh, I was a spicy
I guess
jelly
2017
bean.
isn't filed yet. hell did I make in 2016? How am I supposed to know this?
Like $8.
I gotta.
That's what I always say. Like, oh, I make like 8. Dude, so that's what happened to me with insurance stuff. They're like, how much are you making? I'm like, I don't have a job. I'm not making anything. How much are you making? I'm like, $0. Like, you're making $0. Okay, so for all of 2016, you made $0. I'm like, no.
That's insurance is why I always have to pay federal taxes.
Dude, it's such garbage. It's so expensive. Even the state-sponsored one is so expensive.
Well, I have to like estimate in November of 2016, I had to guesstimate how much I was going to make in 2017.
Right?
And then that's how they calculate what they give you from the government towards your premiums.
They had 3 versions for me. They're like, 1, you tell us you make nothing. You pay out the nose month to month. But when tax time comes around, if you like are actually making nothing and you don't use a lot of it, you get a fuckload back.
Right.
2, you guess. We give you a pretty accurate thing. You don't really get a lot back. I forget what with 3 is the other end of that. It's like you pretty much pay nothing, but when tax time comes around, bend over, buddy. Ronnie is a dead man. Miss him, miss him. All right, in that, we're going to jump to Kyle and Dan.
You think I can just guess at this part, or should I actually dig out my 2016 tax return?
Probably somewhere.
I know
Kyle,
it's somewhere.
Dan.
Oh, fuck.
We're going to go with you guys first. Ronnie's dead, apparently. So you guys, as you pull the van out of the collapsed sort of shipping container rocket that you had, the cloud that's around the city begins to dissipate a little bit. The guy in the driver's seat seems completely unperturbed by all of this, as he seems to be completely unperturbed by everything. But the fact that you guys are a sizable ways outside the Veil and crash landed just now does not seem to weigh on this guy at all. People aren't readying weapons. They're just kind of like, all right, well, let's go back there. As it tries to turn.
Are we going back towards Destinar, or are we going back towards the Veil?
You're headed back towards Destinar. You're well beyond the Veil right now. You guys are, if I have to I gotta zoom you in over here somewhere. You guys flew out north and west of the city. So you guys are kind of like out next to this river here. You're along this river.
Okay.
You're at,
so is the Veil like everything in the middle of this island except for the cities?
as far as you know, yeah, surrounding the cities is like each has its own little protective area. That's the extent of your knowledge.
All right.
Oh God. You don't know where it comes from. You still don't know what generates it. But you just kind of accept that it works. All right, so you guys trundle your way back towards the city. Wesley, what are you doing?
Trundle. He's trundling.
He's trundling along.
Kyle, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Oh,
There you go.
that's why nobody was responding.
We just were ignoring you hardcore.
I was like, how come nobody's
Nobody wants to talk
Is
to
anyone
you.
even listening to me?
So what you're saying is that the Veil is generated by people and keeping out the bad things.
You have no idea. If that's your theory, if that's what you want to roll with, that's fine. You want to be wrong.
All right. Sophie decided
It's
to run
not.
off. She's back. She's back.
Right.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So Wesley's looking around and he sees nobody's Is it just the driver who's not freaking out, or is everybody else looking uneasy?
The Sister of Battle is also with you. She doesn't care. The tech priest has like gone to sleep or something. Might have been knocked out from the crash. Not entirely sure. The whatchamacallit, the other thing, the Cyber Mastiff, also same deal. It didn't get to lock itself back into its floor mounts before the crash landing. So it's in sort of a tangled heap. But yeah, nobody seems really upset by what's happened.
Okay.
Ours is kind of upset, but the rest of them.
I'm more upset because I got foam in my mouth.
So Wesley passes his willpower test, so he's not going to freak out. He's been beyond the veil before, so he knows that this is, in his mind, this is not a safe place to be hanging out. But because everybody else is being so nonchalant, he's going to continue to, take the cue. So, but he is going to speak up and look at, I think it was the, what was her name? Chariot, I think we called the one who was dragging me along earlier.
Man, I tried to write them down, but I didn't. I wrote them down on something that I lost. It was like a piece of paper I had.
Worries. But there was a chick that was dragging me along. Right?
Yeah, there was
It was like Chariot or
Grevery.
something like that.
There's Grevery. There's like Seidel.
It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna look at her.
It's critical.
The one who I have.
Yeah,
the
you're
best
right.
relationship with, I'm gonna look at and just be like,
is it safe to be this far from the city?
She's just looking out the window at the scenery as it passes by and just goes, yeah, well, standard procedure after the scouring. Outside the veil is a pretty normal place, all things considered. You've been out? She eyes you warily.
yeah. So, Wesley is gonna kind of nod as she's explained it, and it's just gonna kind of make sense to him a little bit, like nothing is normal. There is nowhere where normal is right now. So to be here isn't necessarily worse. And he's gonna respond to her question and just say,
Service to the Emperor has taken me to strange places.
So she continues to look out the window. She doesn't answer you, but the guy driving just kind of along goes, yeah, I've been meaning to ask you about that. What do you mean by service to the Emperor exactly here?
Oh, God.
so
Kyle, I don't like the people you're with, Kyle. Your friends make me uncomfortable.
we're not friends at this point. I've been able to throw my high stats around a little bit and push the leader around. So I'm wondering if I can just make them useful for us.
Creep me out.
They are creepy.
Bronny, you look like an evil mastermind right now petting that cat.
I am.
Yeah.
Mastermind down. As the music changes, that was perfect, by the way.
So Wesley's just gonna pretend he doesn't hear him.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wesley's
Right,
gonna just kind of like,
I've been meaning to ask you about that. What do you mean it's supposed to be
Oh, what do you mean by that? Yeah.
Good, and you?
Good one.
I'm
just
doing
go look
fine.
out the window and would just wait and just be like, nope, I'm not going there.
So you decline to answer. The Sister of Battle looks over at you as you don't answer. She kind of points to her head a little, leans in towards you and goes, I felt that, you know. And goes back to looking out the window.
All right. Wesley's not going to acknowledge that either. He's just going to continue staring out the window, just not responding.
He just says to her, "Good, and you?" Like, thank you.
So as you're moving along there, and still nobody's drawing weapons, nobody's readying for the abhuman menace that waits for all things outside the veil. You're just kind of following the river back. After like 15 minutes, you see the tech priest just like very mechanically. She doesn't just wake up like it's one of these like type wake ups where you see the eyes flutter open and systems just slowly start calibrating themselves. Almost simultaneously, the cyber mastiff begins to like unfold itself from the metal pile that it became in the crash landing. It's checking its own systems and deems one of its paws unusable and just folds it up against its body, correcting with the other front paw. It moves back towards its locked positions and 3 of its paws locked into the grates on the floor. The guardsman has yet to wake up, but the tech priest has noticed like the wonder if he's gonna make it type look, an appraising look at him. Ars, what's up with you?
Real quick, do I have my stuff with me right now?
I think you do.
All right, I definitely want to take out one of my whatever bag I had with me when I went to the monastery. Would have definitely had one of my holy texts in it, and I definitely want to pull that out and just start paging through it and reading different passages. And
really cultivating this. Yeah, my service to the emperor. One of these.
Yep.
So you bust out the emperor's Bible here and start to recite some of the passages in it. The guy in the front seat begins to like intone some of these passages along with you. For he who is scared, the emperor shall be at his side. One of my favorites. That's a great one. I also like the Book of Bulletstorm 430. It's driving along. You're driving along. You're going like... All right, Ars, what's happening? Are you gonna like?
He's spitting out foam. He's gonna ignore the fact that Wesley's being real cagey right now. He's like, there's time for questions once we get to safety.
Yeah, because you've been around him for long enough to really kind of have a good idea of what his deal is.
Yeah. Yeah, I have my suspicions about him, and like, but I feel like we don't need to get into that right now. Like, we got to get in the clear first before we can start digging into that crap. So I'm more concerned about making sure all the books that I took are secure and survive the crash. So I'm like digging through the lockbox or the glove compartment or whatever is in the van.
I think you had some kind of essentially a small armored backpack with you that was full of accounting books, just all the monetary records for working for Dimitri. And you guys worked in analog, and now you think you know why you worked in analog. So you're going through, you're checking all your stuff. Yeah, everything's held up. Nothing's really smashed. All things considered, you made out like a goddamn bandit. You're walking away with enough evidence to put away somebody from upstairs, and you've got, for the first time, as far as you know, some concrete goddamn evidence on one of them.
Yeah, so my focus is just going to be pouring through those books and making sure stuff's all right. And then I'm going to like tap the driver on the shoulder and be like, how long until we get there?
We'll be there when we be there. Oh, I imagine we'll have the place quite to ourselves. Any requests there, Ars?
Just that you get there quickly.
Okay. Like starts to plow over some of the stuff he was avoiding before. Oh, you heard the man. So he's got it in his mind that he wants to go towards the spaceport. Because as far as, like, the plan for you guys is get the evidence and then make a move to put some of them away. Because you know your mission, right? I think we went over your mission, Dan.
Yes.
Okay. If not, you're adept at making it up anyway. But the idea is to get to the spaceport, go upstairs, and try and put some people away for finally. All right, you guys are nearing the city walls. We're going to jump back to our crash landers. You guys, you, like, sort of come to work your way out of the daze. After a moment or two, you feel your systems reinitialize, Brawny. Almost all at once, you see both Mechanicus guys wake up when Ogene at the same time. The Mechanicus guy, who's not with Ogene, reboots and, like, as soon as he lifts his head up, goes like and begins to unfold his arms to grab his armaments behind him.
Okay, so what kind of, so these guys were servitors, right?
Yeah, you said that, well, we said they were like ex-Skitari.
Oh yes, okay. So first thing I'm gonna do is when I see that, I want to yell at him in binary and be like, hey, what's up? Remember, you work for me, the fucking Mechanicum.
All right, you got to give me a... You can either take a fellowship test or an intelligence test here. Fellowship plus 15, intelligence flat.
Do I notice this happening?
You're probably a little preoccupied up front, but give me a perception test, Miss 10, to see if you notice this happening.
Bushik, both of those things you just gave are exactly the same statistics.
Goddamn right, planned that.
Nope. All right, so I'm gonna yell at him in binary, like, remember who your master is. We are the Mechanicum. We are Legion. I don't know, something like that. Nailed it. It fucking worked.
Oh, dude. So dude continues, he draws his weapon, looks over at you, looks at Dimitri, who's like, kind of knocked himself out at the moment, unbuckles himself with his gun continually trained on Dimitri. Like, he's moving around the cockpit, just continuing to have his gun trained on Dimitri.
I give him, like, whatever the Mechanicum's version of giving a dog a good boy is. I do that, but binary.
Okay, he seems to like that. That's the good noise. Meanwhile, up front, you've got Double Black Stripe up there, sort of like waking himself up. The side of his face is really bloody. He looks over at his co-pilot, who is decidedly dead on the ground, unbuckles himself, and you hear him under his breath go, "Oh, well, any landing you can walk away from," as he pats like the dashboard full of knobs and mechanical dials in the front of the ship, begins to unbuckle himself and haul himself out of the cockpit. Brony, what's your game? Paul, what's your game here?
I want to see where we landed. And,
all right.
Also unbuckle and
so
hop
you
up and check it out.
Unbuckle yourself, and through the shattered mess of a windshield, you can see the looming figure of the center spire in front of you. Looks like you've kind of landed on one of the radial things going towards the city. I'm going to switch you back to the city map here. So you guys kind of flew out to the north, like out the north, swung back around, and came in this like northeast, that one that goes all the way in towards the center spire there. I'm going to circle it on our... Did I move you guys back or just me? Oh, no, I moved you guys. Yeah. This one, that like street.
How close to the spire are we? Like,
you guys are close. You guys are in the 4s or whatever that is, the 8s, right? You guys are like in between sprawling mansion estates. There's walls left and right of you, like reaching up higher than a person could try and go over. There's just broken glass like everywhere in the pilot's compartment. You shove the dead dude out of your way as you pull yourself out. The pilot is struggling to with a loud screeching metal like resisting him. The side door slides open. Dimitri continues to be unconscious or something. He's out cold in the seat there. The mechanicum.
While he's out, I'm gonna be kind of like walking up behind the pilot and go, "How do you work for this man?"
So he's like, his left arm doesn't seem to be working because that's where the impact was. He's limping and he's very bloody. But he takes a deep breath of air once the door opens and looks out at all the stuff before him, and he points at the house closest to him, which is a massive, white, like, sprawling estate type thing. He goes, "'Cause that's mine now."
Very good. But you should probably be in good health before you enjoy this home. Would you like to me take a look at your wounds?
Friend, I don't know who you are, and I've lived a life this long by being cautious. I thank you kindly for the offer, but I think I'll be taking what's mine now. He steps off the plane, kicking broken glass, shards of glass everywhere out of the way as he steps towards the big sort of estate, looking for some kind of an open gate that'll lead him in.
I'm going to kind of walk behind him and just be like, "Is this really your plan? You are just going to live here now?"
Yeah. Who's going to stop me? This is mine. You're going to tell me it's not mine? I was here first. You got that? I was here first, and you know what it takes to get here before all those assholes. And he points to the sky, and you can see contrails beginning to reach up into the sky. He says, "Look at all those rich assholes, thinking they can come in here and claim what's best. But I'm here first. You know, come to think of it, something tells me we might have to, or I might have to stake my claim. Seems I might be in need of a couple of people who might be able to guard this place. What do you say? What's mine is ours?"
I'm gonna be like kind of confused and look to Paul.
I was about to say the same exact thing. I'm gonna look to Kadofi.
So the guy is undaunted. He doesn't take your lack of response as anything other than I keep going. So he's like, "Yeah, go ahead. You can take your own. You can take your own slice of the eights. You got to defend it from all those assholes. And you see, I know what's coming from over there. I worked with this asshole long enough," pointing to Dimitri, "to know what those assholes are like and what they're going to be bringing with them."
Well, okay, let me ask you this, friend. If we work for you, do you think there's any way in the eights here for us to get off planet?
Buddy, you live in the eights. You call the shots. You're not bound to the ground anymore.
All right, well,
I'm gonna kind of turn to Castle and just be like, perhaps because we don't forget we have a bunch of drugs still, and we have all the ingredients. We have the Skatari. Grab them.
I was gonna say we should just take our own like compound.
Say maybe we should take our own compound and just start over what we were doing. But now
you're gonna go back to drugs. Like you're gonna already be rich men at this point.
Well, I have
becoming the part of the system that he hates.
Yeah.
Right. Well, no, hold on. No, let's reason here.
I can stop whenever I want. I just don't want to.
Just think of the imaginary money.
Well, I'm thinking, I mean, you can fucking set up here and, get a really nice place, get a really nice club, only good drugs, only invite nice people. It's not fucking shitty Club Chaos anymore. We've got the fucking money because I've got the money on me. Literally, I grabbed it. We've got the fucking ingredients because we fucking grabbed it. 2 Skatari worth, fucking taking huge bags. Listen to the recording. We fucking grabbed tons. All we need is the equipment, which is super easy to get, especially now. So
probably wouldn't even have to stab any gas station attendants anymore.
No, we could probably just go buy the gas.
Stab them.
Well, all right. So I agree with everything. I agree with everything you said. What are you saying, Paul?
I was saying, let's claim one of these places for us. If you want to, we have the money and the drugs, we might as well keep that too and be extra rich. But more importantly, do any of these compounds look like they have some kind of, I don't know, I almost want to say a hangar or a space.
You haven't seen anything resembling a spaceport, but then again, you haven't been to the 8s. And these are all like pretty high walls around these places. These people look like they're ready to defend what they take.
Okay, so hear me out here. Here's what I'm thinking. We fucking take one of these nice compounds, right? We make it ours, basically. We fucking take Dimitri here knocked out because he's obviously got hookups with high places, okay? We're going to fucking essentially take him prisoner, but treat him really, really nice and let him know, like, all right, look, dude, you're a prisoner right now, but we just got to kind of figure out who you are and what's going on. We restart up, not the drug operation, like in a really shitty, shady way, like we were kind of doing before. We just restart up as a way of like casual income. We don't need to run like a huge operation. We don't need a fucking anything like Club Chaos anymore. We just need like a way to like make some money. So if we want to like buy shit, we can buy shit. So now we have funds. Okay. And I'm saying this is just a base funds. Yes, Kevin.
I should remind you that the 4s, like that area inside, like that sort of area around the central spire, is casinos and shit.
Oh shit! So we could even claim a casino.
Yeah, you guys don't need a club anymore. A way to make money. You've basically got a means of printing money.
So we could even take a casino. I mean, the only thing I don't know if we want to assume the responsibilities of running a casino.
Let me stop you for a second. I understand you're from a pharaoh world, and so you got a taste of like civilization.
You're hooked.
But don't forget, I feel like our primary goal is still to get off planet.
Well, that's what I'm saying is we can establish a comfortable look. These scourings don't come around a lot, right? So fucking we establish just like a comfortable means of income, a comfortable place to live, a well-defended place to live, and then we can plan from there. We've got like, what's that Pavlov's triangle of fucking like things?
Hierarchy of needs.
The Pavlov's triangle of fuck with my dick at the top.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying we fucking start a drug empire again. All I'm saying is we don't need that. We just
all right, well, let's take a casino then.
Like, you guys already have more money than you know what to do with. Like, what do you need to set up all the crap again for?
No, we don't.
Yeah. So here's my I don't have an objection, but I do have a question. Bushik, did you not just say that we already have access to space and orbit?
Dude, you take a spot in the 8s, like your nobility. You get to call the shots and get in a spaceship when you want.
Dude, let's go find Kaidana and punch him in the face.
Yes.
Yeah, Brony, I think everything you're saying is true, but I don't think we need to do any of it to get to the next step here.
Okay, then never mind. I said we claim a spot, make it a HQ. Fucking
never mind. Let's just do what I said we were gonna do.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.